Chapter 37: The Resurrection of the Virtuous Squire Kou. Once upon a time, in the ancient land of the Tang dynasty, a group of travelers embarked on a sacred quest, led by the noble Tang priest, Sanzang, and accompanied by his loyal disciples, Monkey, Pig, and Friar Sand. Their journey was filled with trials and tribulations. The tale is one of their many adventures, a chapter from their legendary journey to the West. The story begins as our heroes find themselves leaving the Sea of Gold, a place where the glimmer of riches could not blind them to the true emptiness of material wealth. They had come to understand that all matter is transient, and that true enlightenment lay beyond the allure of gold and silver. As they continued their westward trek, the seasons shifted from spring to early summer, a time of renewal and growth. The air was crisp and refreshing. The waters of the pools teemed with water chestnuts and lotuses, and the fields were ripe with the promise of harvest. The world around them was alive with the sounds of swallows teaching their young to fly and pheasants caring for their chirping chicks. The sun shone brightly from the south of the Dipper, casting its warmth and light upon all creation. One day, as they journeyed without incident for a fortnight, they came upon a city wall. Sanzang, ever the curious and wise leader, inquired about the nature of this place. To his surprise, his disciples, usually brimming with knowledge and tales of their past travels, were at a loss. Pig, with his characteristic gruffness, accused Monkey of feigning ignorance to make a jest of them. But Monkey, ever the clever and proud, retorted that his travels were made by cloud, high above the mortal lands, and thus he had no cause to know this place. As they approached the city, they found an elderly couple chatting beneath a portico, lost in discussions of the world's many wonders and the deeds of ancient heroes. Sanzang, with a respectful bow, sought their wisdom, asking for the name of this place and guidance on where to find sustenance. The old men, touched by his humility, directed him to the house of Squire Kou, a benefactor known for his generosity to monks. With gratitude, Sanzang and his disciples made their way to the gate tower shaped like a sitting tiger, where a sign proclaimed, "All monks welcome." Sanzang, ever the skeptic, was pleasantly surprised to find the old men's words rang true. As they waited for someone to attend to them, a servant, startled by their strange appearances, rushed inside to inform his master. Squire Kou, a man of great virtue and piety, welcomed them with open arms. He led them through his grand estate, showing them the Buddha hall adorned with incense and candles, the sutra library filled with sacred texts, and the refectory where they would dine. The site was a testament to Kou's devotion, a private sanctuary that rivaled the grandeur of any monastery. As they settled in, Kou shared his story. He had vowed to feed 10,000 monks, and the arrival of Sanzang and his disciples would complete his sacred mission. Overjoyed, he proposed they stay for a month to celebrate this momentous occasion. Sanzang, however, was torn. His duty to his emperor and the quest for the true scriptures weighed heavily on his mind. He had promised to return in 3 years, but now, 14 years had passed, and the journey was far from over. The days that followed were filled with preparations for a grand celebration. Squire Kou invited monks from the local temple to perform a mass, and the household was abuzz with activity. The scholars, Kou's sons, were in awe of the travelers, and the old woman, Kou's wife, was moved by their divine nature. But as the day of departure approached, tensions rose. Pig, ever the glutton, was reluctant to leave the comforts of Kou's hospitality. He argued for staying, but Sanzang, driven by his sense of duty, insisted on continuing their journey. The discord among the disciples was palpable, but in the end, they set out, escorted by the music and well wishes of their host. Their departure was a grand affair, with banners and musicians leading the way. The people of the city came out to witness the spectacle, and as they reached the 3-mile pavilion, they shared a parting feast. Squire Kou, with tears in his eyes, bid them farewell, and Sanzang promised to remember his kindness upon their return. As the sun began to set, the travelers found themselves in a desolate place, the Vihara of Padmaprabha, a shrine now in ruins. With dark clouds gathering and rain falling, they had no choice but to seek shelter within its crumbling walls. The night was long and sleepless, filled with the dread of unknown dangers lurking in the shadows. They stumbled upon the ruins of the Vihara of Padmaprabha, a once sacred place that had fallen into disrepair. The Bodhisattva Padmaprabha, a disciple of the Buddha Sekin, was now a distant memory, and the only inhabitants were the wild vegetation and the eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. The dark clouds gathered, and a torrential rain began to fall, forcing the group to seek refuge within the crumbling walls. The night was long and sleepless, as they dared not speak for fear of attracting the attention of malevolent spirits. Their vigilance was tested, and they endured the night in silence, a testament to their resolve and determination. As dawn broke, the group continued their journey westward, unaware of the trials that awaited them. Meanwhile, in the distant county of Dilling, a group of ne'er-do-wells had conspired to turn their fortunes around by nefarious means. Having squandered their wealth on vices, they banded together to form a criminal gang, plotting to rob the wealthy families of the city. Their sights were set on the Kou family, who had recently seen off a group of monks, including the Tang priest and his disciples, with great pomp and ceremony. The gang, emboldened by the cover of rain and the absence of patrolling fire wardens, stormed the Kou residence. Chaos ensued as the family scattered in fear, and the gang ransacked the house, taking everything of value they could carry. In the midst of the chaos, Mr. Kou, the head of the household, bravely confronted the robbers, only to be met with violence that led to his untimely demise. His soul departed to the underworld, leaving his family to mourn and seek justice. The gang, successful in their heist, made their escape, unaware of the grave mistake they had made. Mrs. Kou, consumed by bitterness and resentment towards the Tang priest and his followers, concocted a malicious plan. She falsely accused the monks of the murder and robbery, her lies taking root in the minds of her sons, Kou Liang and Kou Dong. With a heavy heart, the Kou brothers went to the local government to report the supposed crimes of the monks. The prefect of Brazen Tower, a man of uprightness and integrity, was taken aback by the accusations. However, the evidence seemed damning, and he reluctantly ordered the arrest of the Tang priest and his disciples. The group was captured and taken to the city, where they were subjected to harsh treatment in the prison. The injustice of their situation weighed heavily on their minds, but they remained resolute, knowing the truth would eventually come to light. In the dead of night, Brother Monkey, with his divine powers, managed to escape the prison and set things right. He visited the Kou family, impersonating the spirit of Mr. Kou, and revealed the truth of what had transpired. The family, stricken with guilt and fear, vowed to retract their accusations. Monkey then visited the prefect, who was awoken by the divine presence. The prefect, terrified and contrite, promised to release the monks and make amends. The next morning, the Kou brothers arrived at the court with a petition for the monks' release, their father's spirit having appeared to them in a dream, imploring them to correct their wrongdoing. The prefect, convinced of the monks' innocence, ordered their immediate release. The Tang priest and his disciples were welcomed back into the city with apologies and reverence. The Kou family, in gratitude for the monks' exoneration and Mr. Kou's miraculous return to life, prepared a grand feast in their honor. The story of their journey continues, as the Tang priest and his disciples press on towards their ultimate destination, the sacred land of the Buddha. Their path is lined with trials and tribulations, but also with moments of divine intervention and the unwavering pursuit of truth and justice. If you want to know what happened afterwards, listen to the explanation in the next installment.